It's time for Christmas cocktail soiree!
Hello and welcome to Soiree's Retro Rat Pack Christmas cocktail party. If you just heard that wonderful music, that's the new Soiree theme song. Our dear friend Ernie Mannix wrote that for us, and we love it. If you couldn't tell, I was vamping a little bit because it's super fun. He just had a new album come out that you can pick up on Amazon or Spotify or iTunes. It's called Flowers and Candy by Ernie Mannix, and it's wonderful. I do a lot of having it on in the background while I'm cooking and enjoying the music, but I love my new theme song, so hopefully you guys do too. So tonight we have sort of a retro cocktail party theme. So I've picked out some food items that had a nostalgic feel for the Rat Pack era and some cocktails with fun themes to go along with them. We should probably start by showing our food. Kira?
Yeah.
Do we want to move this over so we can show the table?
All right, here you go. I'll follow you.
Okay, well, with this and... Oh, okay.
Can you work around it or you want to move it?
Well, will we be able to see the table? Okay. I'll trade places with you. Okay.
There we go.
We're here now. I'm going to just flip it around. Okay, so here's some of my food spread. I always do a charcuterie tray of some kind. It's the easiest way to please a big crowd. A nice assortment of hard and soft cheeses, some meats. I have some marinated artichokes that are roasted. That's a really nice soft and vinegary component to go with this. Crackers, of course. Some crudities, because you always want a fresh component. Your guests are going to be having a lot of heavy, meaty things that are really delicious, but you want them to be able to kind of refresh their palate with something fresh. And then I've got a couple of new for you guys fun things. So these you guys have seen before. They're little caprese skewers. These look so Christmassy with the red tomatoes and the green basil. And again, this is a really nice fresh bite. So that's easy for your guests. So these are little endive skewers. I think I might have done these last year for Christmas. It's my homemade ricotta from the Ina Garden homemade ricotta recipe. And it's got pomegranate seeds, pistachios, tarragon, and then we've drizzled it with some really nice aged balsamic vinegar. So it has a crunch, it has the fatty creaminess from the ricotta, it's got the little bite from the tarragon, and the pop of freshness from the bursting pomegranate seeds. So that's really fun as well. And then here are polenta rounds. Now, Trader Joe's sells the pre-cooked polenta in like a tube. It almost looks like a big sausage tube. And you can slice it and then just brush them with oil and bake them in the oven and top them with whatever you like. Here I've topped them with almost like a mushroom duxelle. It's just a finely chopped mushroom and shallots, and I've put a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano on it. It's a nice little bite. The polenta is gluten-free, so if you have gluten-free people in your life, that's a nice way to get a base of an appetizer that's safe for them to eat. And then this is a wonderful little brie appetizer. So you see all the baked bries that everybody does en croûte in the puff pastry. Those are beautiful, but sometimes you want just a little bite that your guests can pick up and just have without digging into the big round. So these are nice little buttery crackers, a slice of brie, and then I made a homemade cranberry chutney. And really, that sounds like it's complicated, but it's not. You're just cooking down raw, fresh cranberries. I diced up some Granny Smith apples. You can put other dried fruits in. You can put raisins in if you want. I never want because I'm not a raisin girl. And you can put like a little splash of vinegar, a little splash of lemon juice. You can add cinnamon if you want or other spices, but it makes a nice little bite, the sourness of the cranberry against the butteriness of the brie. So another little cheater. You don't have to go crazy on every single appetizer. You can mix homemade and store-bought to save yourself a little time and sanity. Okay, this was my fun thing this time. So this is a cheese ball. And it felt so retro. It's a pine cone cheese ball, so I made the cheese ball mix, and then you just press almonds into it like a little pine cone, like the little pokey things on a pine cone, and then the guests will just take a knife and spread it on a cracker. So that was very retro. The cheese balls were very popular in the 50s and 60s. So it's my little retro cheese ball. And then now we can move on to the dessert table.
All right, let's do another switcheroo.
I'm going to do the hokey pokey.
Boop, boop, boop. There's our PA, Mark Davis. He's the hired help. All right. More guests arriving.
Hello,
welcome to Soirée.
Hello.
All right.
So once again, for my dessert table, I did a mixture of homemade and store-bought. I did some Trader Joe's, JoJo's, and the meringue kisses, which are wonderful. I made the little snowballs. Some people call them Russian tea cakes. Some call them Mexican wedding cookies. They're almost like a little round shortbread with nuts and tossed in powdered sugar. It's not Christmas for me without making the snowballs. They're like my signature Christmas cookie that I love. And I did the Rocky Road fudge that I did last year that everyone loves. It's a super easy fudge that is just chocolate chips or chunk chocolate, sweetened condensed milk, all melted together with like a little splash of vanilla. And then you mix in any kind of nut if you like, and the marshmallows. And Trader Joe's had some really nice marshmallows that kind of almost melted into it. So I really enjoyed that. And then, okay, I had fun. Oops, I left the broken one out, so let's pretend we're not looking at that one. I made sugar cookies. So every year I always tell myself I want to make sugar cookies, and I always run out of time because they are time consuming. But this year I was like, okay, I'm going to make at least one batch. So I had a really cute martini shaped cookie cutter, and I found a new recipe for the thing that's always plagued me. So I can't make royal icing worth a damn, and I can't pipe. I don't know why, I can't do it. But I found a new royal icing recipe, and it came out super cute. So I made little martini-shaped cookies, and I thought that was really fun. This was another really fun project, and you can actually do this with the kids. These are ice cream cones. These are waffle cones. Ooh. That are just covered in melting chocolate. You can buy Wilton green melting chocolate. So it's already colored green. And so I literally just brushed them onto the waffle cones, and I sprinkled some green glitter, edible sprinkle glitter. And they're really cute. You can eat them if you want, or they're cute decorations. The kids will love doing it, although it's a huge mess. So if you're having the kids do it, put paper down and just get ready for green to go everywhere. Or at least it did with me. Maybe the kids will be neither, I don't know. And then you guys are used to my bobble shots.
Woo!
So
yes.
These are Christmas ornaments filled with a cocktail. And this is my favorite little way to start off the Christmas party here at Soirée. This time I did a cocktail. Again, we're like Rat Pack theme. So this is Mr. Bojangles, like Mr. Bojangles, like Sammy. It's a spiced rum with pink peppercorn. So you infuse the regular light rum with pink Szechuan peppercorns. They're not so spicy. And then you strain it out, and it gets mixed with pomegranate juice and a couple other fun things. So I'm gonna pass some of these out to the crowd so people can have a little cocktail while we're waiting.
And where did you get these things?
So I ordered these on Amazon, and they're just great. They come with a little hanging thing, and you can hang them on the tree. I first saw them online at a liquor store in London that sold them pre-filled with a couple different kinds of gin. So you could basically sample the different kinds of gin in the baubles, and the ones they sold were clear. I thought that was such a cute idea that I did an internet search, and I found that Amazon sold the red and green ones. So I love them. I think they're super fun. You can fill them or not fill them. If you have kids or guests that don't drink, you could put chocolate milk, or you could put a juice, or you could put something else in. So you don't have to make them cocktails. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. See, that's why my friends are here. So, yeah, so these are super fun. Is there anyone that didn't get one that was thirsty? We're all good.
We need one more.
Oh, right. One more.
All right.
All right.
And then it's not Christmas without our Jello shots.
Shot.
So these are the Christmas Soirée champagne Jello shots with a Morello cherry in them. So these are not those horrible maraschino cherries that go on ice cream cones. These are the really nice, rich Morellos, which are just gorgeous, and they're not that like cloyingly sweet, syrupy thing. So it's just a cherry in the middle of a champagne Jello shot. And so we'll leave these here for everybody to have their way with while we make our way over to the cocktail center.
Can I say something real fast?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your hair looks so sexy on live.
Thank you.
It's so cute.
Thank you. So every year I do a favor for my Christmas party, and I do an ornament and then a take-home edible. Not that kind of edible. I know someone's out there saying that, and you know me better than that. So this year I did a really simple, I bought these pre-made little ornaments, and I just wrote Merry Soirée and the year on the back. Last year I had the glass ornaments with the cocktail-shaped glitter inside. Those were really fun. So I'll do a new soiree ornament every year. So however many soirees you come to, you'll have all the ornaments on your tree year after year. And then I have Meyer lemon curd. So it's Meyer lemon season, and anyone that knows me knows I adore Meyer lemons. I adore citrus season. I go crazy. This is simply a Meyer lemon curd that I make. I'll pop a link to the recipe on the soiree page. It's very simple. I actually use Ina's recipe because it's kind of like a no-fail lemon curd, so even if you haven't made it before, you can't screw it up. And I did not can these, meaning they're not shelf stable. So I put them in these cute mason jars, but my guests will take these home and put these in the fridge.
Woo, yes.
They'll last. I work for everybody. They're delicious.
Go in my mouth.
So
Yes, they're delicious on toast or English muffins or scones. They're really good mixed into yogurt. Sometimes I'll have like a plain Greek yogurt and I'll mix a spoon of this in for breakfast.
Or just eat
Just in
it
the
right
spoon
out.
Yeah, hey, I have done that before, no shame. So everybody will go home with a little Meyer lemon curd, and they're delicious.
Alright.
So I just think it's really nice to send your guests home with a little memento of the evening. And most people don't need stuff. So if you give them something drinkable or edible, it's a wonderful thought, but they don't end up with junk they don't need. So I always try to do something they can take home and have extra deliciousness after they leave here. So, all right, so we are going to move on to the cocktail portion of our evening, as if we haven't already started with our tingle shots. Guys, what did you think of the Mr. Botingle shots?
It's
Oh, we like
really
that.
You can mix those with some Prosecco. It's amazing.
You could.
Yeah.
They're delicious.
Or with more
Okay.
of the same.
There's more here on the tree. So, okay, so we're going to start with. Okay. So we had Sammy. Now we're going to move on to Dino. So I have Dino's Mother's Milk Punch. So if you tuned in last year, you remember my milk punch, and our friend Steven, who is not here, had lots of jokes about the milk solids.
He's online.
I'm sure he's making them right now. So milk punch is like a very old cocktail technique. In fact, Benjamin Franklin had his own milk punch recipe. You take the fruit juices and the alcohol, and then you heat up milk or dairy, and it breaks when you add it to the fruit juices and alcohol, and you strain it, and it almost creates like a cottage cheesy ricotta solid that you strain out, and you're left with like a very clear, clarified liquid of the alcohol. Some people age them in their fridge for a long time. I just made this day before yesterday, but it's a lovely way to experiment with different kind of flavors. So this is actually the same milk punch that I made last year, just because I was really fond of it. It's grapefruit. Let me see what it does. This one has green tea, lemon juice, grapefruit juice, gin, and a rosemary simple syrup. So you get like a little bite of the rosemary, the citrus of the grapefruit, but it has a very smooth taste. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this in a shaker with ice, and I'm going to shake it out and put it out to the crowd for you guys to try.
Yay!
So you might ask me why I'm serving this. I have this pre-batched in the pitcher. Stacia, why aren't you just pouring this from the pitcher into the cups? Well, I could, but with a couple of these drinks, although I have them pre-batched, I'm going to shake them up before I serve them to my guests. The reason is it chills them a little extra more, and it kind of aerates the liquid, so you get a nicer body in the cocktail. So I think it's more delicious this way, so that's the reason why. Put this back here, and shake this up. Some glasses. So you want to give it a good hard shake with ice. You want to make sure you're really chilling the liquid well. The other thing the shaking with ice does is it adds a little bit of water to the cocktail. You want that. In fact, if you're batching a cocktail in a pitcher or a dispenser like this and you're not going to mix it up over ice, add some water to the cocktail base because then it's not getting that element. And the cocktail is actually designed to have a little bit of the water in dilution to get that balanced flavor. So you're either adding it with the ice or you want to make sure you put a little bit of it in it when you mix and pre-batch your drinks. So this is pretty. So this is a very light citrusy drink. I'm going to put some more in here. It is not super, super strong. So people can enjoy this without getting a huge hit of alcohol. And I just always think having a citrus-based cocktail is very refreshing. Do a little bit more.
I'm going to come in and taste while you're mixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, have one of those over
And
here.
actually, you can do a little bit of a garnish. You can do lemon. I didn't actually pull any grapefruit. I don't know why. I could have pulled some grapefruit. So
We'll make it work.
yeah,
Okay.
I could have done a grapefruit. I didn't.
Let's see. First cocktail of the night. Very light,
Well, second cocktail of the night, technically,
technically.
because you had the
Very
tails.
light.
It's very light. All right, I'm gonna pass some of these out.
Would
into
someone
the
like a
crowd.
sample? There'll be more coming.
There'll
If
be
you
more
don't get
coming.
one this round, you'll get the next.
Milk solids.
Milk solids. There's no milk solids in it.
Okay, here we go. Part one. Kira starts to get toasty as the sampler. Cheers.
Lovely.
It's a very light. You know what? This is a great cocktail to start the
Yeah,
night
there's a method to my madness. And it's kind of like, think of it like a tasting menu of cocktails. I'm starting you off with certain things and then we'll get into the dessert course later. So this is very light. I love the hit of rosemary you get. It's very aromatic and I can smell the rosemary when I take a sip, which I really like. So.
Steven says he's pulling his grapefruit right now.
Okay, Merry Christmas. Okay.
We try to stay PG, kids, but
What's
no
the
promises.
verdict on the cocktail party?
It's
Okay.
Yummy.
Now, if you wanted to, you could add a little more gin to the shaker when you shake this up for your friends. So if you wanted it to have a little more kick, apparently we don't need that, you could do that. You could add a little more gin to it. So I'm going to move this off to the side, and we're going to go on
All
to
right,
our
let's give it a hand.
next
Round of applause for that cocktail. Woo!
So we have another retro Rat Pack themed cocktail. We couldn't leave Frank out of this. So this is the Pearman of the board. And this is a cocktail, a pear-based cocktail that I made with aquavit, which is a Scandinavian liqueur that it has almost like a caraway infusion flavor. And so it had a tea infused in it that I did at home. It's got a pear honey simple syrup, a little bit of Meyer lemon juice, and this we're gonna top with Prosecco. So I'm gonna take a shaker that we hope won't get stuck on me like they always do. So no promises. This one's really fun and I love doing the Prosecco top cocktails. You guys know I'm a big fan of that. So again, I pre-batched this. So I took all of the elements except for the Prosecco and I put them, I get these containers at Smart and Final. You can write on them or put painter's tape and write on them with a Sharpie if you have more than one cocktail going and you're not sure which is which. You can pre-batch your cocktails a couple days ahead of time, and depending on the cocktail, some you want to make right at the moment you're serving. But this one has been sitting in the fridge for a couple days, so all the flavors have had a chance to really meld together. And like I said, it has the aquavit. Oh, I love the smell of that. There's a slight, wait, Kira, you got to smell this. There's the pear spice and a little bit of the aquavit smell. It's a really very holiday smelling cocktail. So I'm going to pour a bunch of this on. I'm going to shake this bad boy up. Oops.
I feel like we should sing Twist and Shout whenever she says shake.
I know. I was thinking
Get a baby!
that's funny. I was thinking like Outcast. Shake, 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 shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Or
Wait.
Oh no, the one that,
you don't have to pay royalties when you sing that, do you?
I don't think so.
So I'm gonna. If you guys have watched watch before, you notice I don't have the fancy cocktail glasses out. The reason is I have a whole bunch of my friends over, and I don't want to be stuck in the kitchen washing glassware all night. And because we have so many different drinks, it's not like just serving wine and everyone puts the wine charm in and remembers whose is whose. So I do these. It's not the most elegant thing, but it lets me enjoy my guests and not be washing my dishes all night. And they all forgive me for it because I apply them with alcohol.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. It works out really well. So.
We love alcohol.
So you don't have a problem at all.
No.
Okay. So I'm going to put some in each, and then I'm going to top it with Prosecco, remember? So this gets a little bubbly with it. Now the nice thing about taking a cocktail that you're going to top with Prosecco is, again, if you want to lighten it up for your guests who don't want a whole bunch of alcohol but want to enjoy the cocktail experience, you can also put club soda or sparkling water instead of the Prosecco. So it gives kind of the same feel with the effervescence, but with less alcohol content. So, whoops, I'm spilling all over today.
It's okay.
That's okay.
It's a party.
You guys can't see what the floor looks like. The way my floors look after these parties is shocking. It's like, don't ever show my floors. There will be mopping tomorrow. So,
I've been going to media guys.
just a little bubbly on each one. So, you guys notice when I do this, I almost always grab the Zonin Prosecco from Trader Joe's. It's extremely well priced. I think this bottle is $7 or $8. I drink it, I cook with it, I top it with cocktails. It's just a really well-priced bubbly. If you're looking for something to mix into cocktails or do mimosas with and you don't want to break the bank, that's a really good budget cocktail. Prosecco, and Trader Joe's carries it. I've seen it in grocery stores as well. I have a fun garnish. These are actually little pear candies. So when I was a kid and we went to Disneyland, they had that candy shop in Main Street or whatever that was kind of near the entrance, and at the end we would go and buy like a little candy or whatever before we left, and these are these fruit-shaped candies, and they were just really fun, and they're delicious, and I've been eating them, so I had to stop myself, so I'm just going to put a little pear in each of your drinks.
Yay!
That's just a fun little...
Super cute.
Oh, they're yummy!
Troy Richardson says you look amazing. And
Thank
full
you.
of life.
Cocktail.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I have like 3 going, but
That's okay, that's normal here.
I'm coming in to try one.
Take one. Come on. Come on, you got
I'm coming in to try one.
Okay, make one of those.
You got help.
This is the Pearman of the Board.
Pearman of the board.
Pearman of the board.
I like that.
Here's
I
to
don't think.
Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes.
No, that seems weird.
So one of the things I love about doing this is I go down the rabbit hole with cocktail
Hey, you
recipes.
guys, come here and
I
sit.
start out
Well,
with
Larry.
20 recipes before I do this, and it's really hard for me to pare them down to 4 or
He was at
5
the game.
because there's so many recipes out there, and you can take a recipe that sounds intriguing to you and either try it as it is, or you can tweak it. So if it has an ingredient you don't care for, just swap it out with something you do. You can customize it for you and your guest experience, and it's really fabulous.
Cheers. This is amazing. This is so good.
Yeah, it was
Oh
really
my
good.
god, I love this. Okay, so this is a new favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 3 of Kira Gets Buzz tonight. Welcome. You guys are used to seeing me on Fox News or Around the Way, but you know, now you get to see Kira in a different light. I only have fabulous friends.
Well, that's true.
Wow.
I have those same
Here,
fabulous.
here.
Yeah, these are delicious.
You know
I
what?
really like this.
This feels classy.
Well, I'm nothing if not classy as I got.
But I
crap
would
all over
serve
my
this.
floor.
If I wasn't here watching you make it, I would think, wow, this is really complicated.
It's not.
It's got a lot of pieces. And you must be a professional, you know, fancy bartender. But this is just a couple of simple.
It is. I will actually post the recipes on the Soirée Facebook page. This one, I bought a bottle of Aquavit at the my favorite liquor store of the Beverage Warehouse, which is affectionately named the Candy Store. They have everything. And I bought a really affordable bottle, so I have never really had Aquavit before. And so I asked the guy at the store, I'm like, I want like a mid-level price range because I'm going to be making it in a cocktail, so it doesn't need to be like super high-end drinking by itself. And this one got infused with, I think this is the one I infused with the tea. Yes, so this got infused with Earl Grey tea. Just for like 20 minutes. You want to be really careful when you infuse alcohol with tea because you can get bitterness on the end if you infuse it too long. So you infuse it pretty.
I can taste it.
Yeah, so you get the taste now, but like had I left it overnight, it's undrinkable. So you just leave it in 20 minutes, and then you strain it out, and then I rinse out the bottle and put it right back in the same
Lovely
bottle.
flavor.
I have a bottle of Aquavit now in my bar that'll last, whatever, that's already infused, but all the solids, the tea solids have been strained out, so I can mix this up anytime I want. So yes, this is a new favorite. We're very fond of this one. I'm also assembling quite the little collection of glasses over here.
All right, audience, what do you think?
And Sarah's Tommy says that both of you guys' boobs look really good.
Thank you, Tommy.
See, we know who that is.
Yes, we know exactly.
It's less creepy than it sounds, guys.
And hey from Phoenix from Becca.
Oh, Becca. Hey, Becca.
Hey, Becca.
She says, what's up for round 4?
Okay, so this is the one I was hinting on Facebook. This is a take on a classic gimlet. Now, a gimlet, for anybody that is a cocktail aficionado or has tuned in before, is a classic mix of gin, lime, and sometimes Rose's lime juice and sometimes simple syrup, depending on who you are. It's that classic cocktail from the Raymond Chandler novels. And it's just a wonderful, I love gimlets. They're very summery to me. This is a maple gimlet. So it's the lime juice and the gin still, but instead of simple syrup or Rose's lime juice, you've got maple syrup in it. So it's kind of like a holiday gimlet. This is delicious.
It is good.
KJ was testing it for me.
Heck
Wow.
yeah, was.
I had little elves helping me prep at the last minute, so I was plying them with alcohol before you guys got here. So again, I batched this, but this is so much nicer if you shake it up over ice, because you get a little bit of body with it. So that's why I'm, again, not pouring it straight out of the thing. Okay, I need the other one.
Jim wants to know where the fennel pollen is.
One of these days I'm going to make a drink with fennel pollen just for Jim.
He'll fly out here for that. On his coffee.
It's kind of like a running joke between us, because I actually love fennel. I think I must have used it one time, and he was like, Stacia, that's the most ridiculous. Like, it sounded silly to him and maybe pretentious or whatever. So now when he's teasing me, he's like, does it have fennel pollen? Jim, I'm going to make a cocktail with fennel pollen. I'm going to call it the Jim Jam.
The Jim Jam.
Can it also somehow have Meyer lemon curd in it?
Actually,
Yeah.
lemon and fennel would be delicious together.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yes.
I don't believe
The answer
it.
is yes.
I don't
That will
believe it.
happen. So I did a fun little garnish on this one when I did it on the Soirée page. I'm going to kind of reproduce that here. Oh, we're broken glass in here. Well, that one had a day already.
Oh, I think I just outed myself as the person doing all the chatting.
That's okay.
That's fine.
KJ, in the grand scheme of things you can out yourself for, that's a good one.
Yeah, if that's the worst thing you out yourself.
Exactly.
There's so much worse. But well, I just talked
So
about the
this
PVC
is, again,
non-acid.
it's gin, and this actually is a nice juniper forward gin. So
Forward.
yes, because it holds up well with the lime juice and the maple, which are kind of strong flavors. So I did a fun little garnish on this one. This is, I did like a tiny bit of the green for color. It's just green sanding sugar, because I just wanted a little color. And I'm gonna stuff my hands because it's all sticky. Okay, and then I'm gonna let people opt whether they want to do this or not, because it gets garnished with star anise. Now, if you are licorice averse in any way, you do not want this because it's strong. Kira's shaking her
See,
head.
no, I know I'm already.
No,
This is what it
licorice
looks like.
person.
Okay.
Any licorice?
But
What is it?
It's star anise, and it gives another element to the drink, so it makes a really pretty cocktail. I hate black licorice, but I love fennel, and I love Pernod and pastis, and I actually don't mind star anise. So I can, if anyone's very adventurous, say yes, and I'll put one in.
I'm gonna be adventurous.
Yes,
Put one in for me for the taste test. I'll be
Our
adventurous.
beautiful friend would like some.
Okay.
Okay.
We have another
Cheers.
taste tester
Hi.
Who else wants one?
Here's
Why
some
don't
without.
you come in here? Come
She
on.
doesn't have to be. If
Come
she
on,
doesn't want to.
gorgeous. You
We
don't want
don't.
to?
We don't make people come in that don't want to.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there one?
That's okay.
Just it's a party.
Not a party till
That
it's
happens a lot here, and it's usually me.
foul.
So.
You guys are the stars.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, I'm taking a risk here.
This is lovely.
All right, because I hate licorice, but I
love
want to
this
be
one.
adventurous.
It's
not
a
I
horrible.
can
little.
barely taste the licorice.
No, it's not. It's just a garnish.
It's not
You can
licorice
leave it
forward
off.
of all of us.
So it's a little on the sweet side.
This is sweet. This one's
But-
sweet.
Did you
Yeah,
try this one yet?
But you get that really nice round
That's
maple
the
leaf
pear.
flavor
This
against
is
the
the new
citrus,
one.
and I think it's lovely.
tongue.
Yeah, it does.
I think if you have guests that maybe aren't as adventurous with
Yes.
cocktails and they
Yeah, it's
would
too
like
sweet for
something
you.
on the sweeter side.
Now I'm doing it too. So actually that brings a funny point up. So I had another cocktail that I was going to make tonight and I was intrigued by it. And I found the recipe online and it was from a really well-known mixologist and he does the bar program of one of the really popular shishi restaurants here in LA. So I was like, oh, I'm going to make this. So I bought a special bottle of a liqueur that I didn't have to make it. And I made the cocktail and, okay, I'm cocktail adventurous. I made a face. And I was trying to salvage it and I'm like, well, I don't know how this is drinkable. So I left that one out for y'all because it was not nice. So sometimes you're going to have cocktail fails. So I'm going to recommend that when you have a party, mix new ones with ones that you've done before, but also do a taste test because I was sure this was going to be gorgeous and wonderful. And when I tried it, I was like, I don't think that's my friend. And it's way too adventurous for anybody that's not like a serious hardcore cocktail person. So it's in the fridge aging because supposedly it gets better while it ages. That's what they tell all of us. But I don't know. I'm not going to pull it out tonight because I just think it's a little harsh. It's
Hand
a little...
everything to KJ.
We'll do that. We will do that.
Jim says Kira will drink anything. He says that like it's a bad
No,
thing.
I don't think Kira would drink this.
I
I
think
really
your coffee
don't.
bitch is getting sassy.
I don't think Kira
Alright.
would drink this.
All right, let's give Seisha a hand. No, you got one more. Just, we're cheering out that cocktail.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I think you
I'm
got
like, wait, am I
time for
done?
one more.
Okay, I have one more. So last year I made a couple different kinds of eggnog. And I don't like eggnog. We did rum pepe last year, remember? And we did a regular eggnog.
Yes.
I don't love eggnog, and we tried to make friends with it, and we were all kind of like, yeah, it's fine. So this year, in the Rat Pack theme, I picked a sweet dessert cocktail to end the night that has kind of that desserty, frothy, delicious sweetness flavor, but it's not eggy. So I am doing a brandy Alexander. So any of you that know what that is, it is brandy, it is heavy cream, it is creme de coco, which is like a chocolate liqueur, and it's fabulous.
I
So
cannot
I'm gonna-
wait to
yeah,
try
let
this
me-
one.
Hold on, I'm running out of shakers.
All right, let's give Seisha a hand. We're the last drink, guys. Last drink. Here we go. This is last call. Last call.
Running out of shakers.
Last
right, one of these.
Facebook.
Well, yeah. Last call that you guys will see. When I turn this off, I let the hungry jackals loose on the food table. Which I'm not allowed to touch
We
until
can't
we're
show
not
you
live
that
anymore.
part.
Yeah,
We
you
can't
don't
show
wanna-
you that.
That's not family friendly.
No.
So, all right. So I am gonna.
Becca said, just curious, what was the base liquor of the cocktail that failed?
Okay, so Punta Mess, which is like a bitter Amaro type liqueur.
Jim said Sterno.
Actually, it's funny you say that, as the resulting cocktail was very reminiscent of the Sterno. And you notice I'm specifically not calling out the name of the mixologist or the restaurant or the name of the cocktail because I was shocked because, again, I
It
like
was-
crazy cocktails and I was like, who the hell's going to drink this?
It was Punta Ness?
Punt and Mess. P-U-N-T.
I was like,
U
hey,
letter
puttanesca
E.
is like a sauce. I wouldn't want to drink that either.
No, that's puttanesca. That's a horse sauce is actually the
Horse sauce.
It's actually the translation.
So what's going in there?
So this is, I've already pre-batched the brandy Alexander. So it's brandy, it's heavy cream, it is creme de coco, which is a chocolate flavored liqueur. And now I am going to garnish this with something that I know one of you will say no to, Carol. Freshly grated nutmeg. Now I've talked to you guys about nutmeg before.
Oh, yeah.
I called it. She hates nutmeg. One of these days I'm going to turn her. I know it. So, there we go.
Come on, you can do it. Let's go. Come on, Stacia. Here we go.
There's always one, right?
Here we go. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
Give it a good slap.
Oh, damn.
Nope.
Come on, guys. She needs your encouragement. Let's go. Come on, Stacia. You can do it.
I don't need encouragement.
Mark, go ahead.
Oh,
She's
now
a
I'm
man.
done.
She needs.
Oh, wait, I got it.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, she doesn't need no man.
Wow.
So this is nutmeg.
No, there's no nutmeg in it. In fact, I will not garnish yours with nutmeg, but the other people's I will because it's delicious.
So again, what was in the mix
So
that
this
you
is a
poured?
brandy Alexander. So it's brandy, it's heavy cream, it's creme de coco, which is a chocolate liqueur. I'm gonna just get rid of some of this ice because it's. And then I'm garnishing all of them but Carol's with a freshly grated nutmeg. Now I talk about this. I don't eat the nutmeg that's pre-ground. I think it's nasty. It tastes like dirt. Soap, dirt soap. But if you take a fresh nut, now either Cruiser or Jim is going to have their way with that, so go ahead. I don't know which one of you is going to get naughty with
Well,
me.
he said he's already craving horse sauce, and I'm like, you can just leave out the word sauce.
So this is a nutmeg nut, right? It's a nutmeg grater, and I keep it in this little jar, and you literally are just grating a little bit of the fresh nutmeg onto it, and it really does give this lovely warmth. And this is going to sound weird. It's like spicy and almost a tiny bit citrusy. Again, Carol, are you going to be brave?
Yes.
Oh, Carol, look at Carol. Go
Mark
ahead,
that
girl.
in your calendar.
Go ahead.
It's on video.
Whoa! It's a momentous day.
I'm
here.
walking on the wild
Well, that's
nutmeg
love for you
side.
right there.
We're a little
Let's
messy.
see, Carol.
Pass it
Oh,
out,
that's
people.
lovely.
Pass it
Oh,
out.
Right.
So this is a good end of the night drink. It's kind of like a nightcap. It's a little sweet. It's a little desserty.
Here, we'll take 'em.
Okay.
Okay.
You got one? Okay. All right. I love eggnog.
Wow,
I
that's
love
very
eggnog.
See, this, I hate eggnog. I like
This.
this.
Brandy Alexander.
This I like.
This is not good
Oh.
for the lactose
See, that's
intolerant
right.
like me.
This one is my favorite of
I
the
have to
night.
steal
Oh,
something.
better than the
Yeah,
paradise.
you're like, I
Wow.
can get something
This is
just
my
You like this
favorite.
one better.
I love
Okay.
it.
Okay.
You know, I love eggnog, first of all. It's got a chocolatey bite to it.
Yeah.
That nutmeg is perfect. It's
Yes.
not too
You
strong.
do need cheese make.
I don't mind the nutmeg.
Oh,
That's a ringing endorsement from Miss I Hate Nutmeg.
I
So
don't-
thank you
The
for being
nutmeg
adventurous.
is good.
But you see what I mean about the
The
difference
nutmeg,
between
yeah.
the fresh and
Oh,
the
yeah,
and you can't put too much. It's just like the tiniest little grate of it over, and it's one of the fun things about a cocktail is whether it's in the garnish or something you top with or in the drink itself, you should almost get a little whiff of something before it goes in your mouth. So like. Really?
we have bad friends. So sorry.
Wait, you want to go with
Christmas
that?
time and Loopy, we have awful friends.
Santa, please note that wasn't me. Okay, just saying.
Do you want to go with that? I'm just gonna tell you though, don't ever use that stuff that
No,
comes pre-ground.
agreed.
That's
I think it's
Oh,
horrible.
ground nutmeg.
No, and you know what? I thought I hated nutmeg until I got this. Because it was terrible, but
There you
you
go.
should
Need
get a
fresh
whiff of
nuts.
something in the glass. So like the
Fresh
one
nuts.
cocktail, we got a little bit of the rosemary from the rosemary simple syrup. This we're getting a little bit of the spiciness of the nutmeg before you even drink it. So you're drinking with your eyes and your nose, and then the last thing it does is hit your mouth. So you want to please your guests on, oh my God, there's just no way I can
Just,
move
just
I had to take it
ignore
to
the
Cruiser.
children on the feed.
This is so good.
I can guess what Steven's saying.
I will
No,
say
it's
too,
good.
as someone who's not a pro entertainer, what I do like is it makes it feel like a little extra special just to have that fresh ground
Yes,
nutmeg.
yes.
It's not a big deal, but
Yeah.
it's impressive.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like you've put a lot of effort into.
And if you really want, like if you have fewer guests or more time or a bigger kitchen,
Very good.
all the things I don't have, you could make some whipped cream and put a little bit of heavy whipping cream on the top. You could put a little extra brandy. You could even heat this up and serve it warm. With like some whipping cream on it, some shaved chocolate. It would be delicious. But a brandy Alexander was actually a really popular retro like 1950s housewife cocktail. It's kind of like the pink squirrel, which I think I made on YouTube once, just a fascinating cocktail. But it's desserty, it's fun, it's a great way to close out the night as guests move on to the
What do
dessert
our guests
table.
think?
Delicious. So thirsty, and I want to let them loose on the food table before they get a little restless over there. Thank you so much for joining us for Soirée's Christmas Cocktail Facebook Live Retro Cocktail Party. Thank you so much to Ernie Mannix for our theme song. I love it. And check out Amazon or Spotify for Ernie's new album, Flowers and Candy. It's wonderful.
All right.